welcome to Impact. I'm Randall Adcock with Wayfinders Business Cooperative, and I'm here today talking with Leo Wong, who is founding director of the Social Innovation Institute at MacEwan University. So, welcome, Leo.
Thanks, Randall.
So, as founding director of this institute, you played a role in getting the whole thing started and launched, but you didn't do that alone. Can you tell us how this institute came to be?
Well, it's part of MacEwan University, and as a university, we have a lot of great faculty and staff that have been with the institution since it was like a community college. And now, as a university, and there's a big push to kind of rediscover its community roots in the context of being an academic institution. So I worked with a lot of our faculty colleagues across MacEwan, so people that were in the nursing faculty, in health and community studies, and arts and science, and fine arts and communications, and the school of business, to come together and say, how can we, as a collective group, apply our teaching and our research with community at the heart of that. And so there's been a group of people at MacEwan that have always been interested in that endeavor, and so we got together, and I kind of happened to be the one that convened those meetings and kept those conversations going. And then we've had some amazing staff at MacEwan that are thinking innovatively and differently about how MacEwan operates as an entity. And so I worked with our executive director of our campus services. His name is Chris Bruckman, and together the two of us really kind of developed the concept from in the beginning. We were able to hire a coordinator named Heather Braid, who kind of helped us get the business plan together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it went for a matter of about 18 months, from the initial conversations to finally getting it approved, to construction, to opening.
Okay.
That's kind of how everything unfolded.
And when did the Social Innovation Institute officially open?
It was about over 2 years ago, so we're in our third year of operation now. Yeah.
All right. But the whole idea of social innovations as a movement is fairly new, isn't it?
I think the term social innovation seems fairly new, but once people start kind of engaging with activities that tend to be called social innovation activities, people will start to think, oh, we've been kind of doing a thing like this before. I think at the root of it, social innovation is about creating solutions to problems and addressing those problems at the root cause, so that hopefully you can kind of create a sustainable way of addressing these issues. And so in that light, people have been doing that for ages,
Right.
creating new ways of doing things that kind of broke out of the mold and tried to really address the root issues to some social challenges.
Can you give us a few examples of social issues that people here have been working on?
We've been collaborating with the City of Edmonton on an initiative called Recover, and Recover is really focused on addressing urban wellness issues. And urban wellness, if you think about wellness, like our physical wellness, our mental wellness as a person, there's a number of different indicators of that type of wellness, right? How you're feeling, your stress levels, if you have ailments, physical ailments. But if you apply that to the city as a community, and that's where the term urban wellness comes from, what are some indicators in where maybe there are some parts that need to be addressed? Social ills, social disorder, things like homelessness,
Okay.
food insecurity, poverty,
Right. Yeah.
crime. All those things would be examples of where if we take a social innovation approach to trying to address those issues, it might be coming up with a new way of addressing them that maybe builds upon work that organizations have already been doing, leveraging the creativity of individuals, people that have experienced some of these issues,
Mm-hmm.
and finding out from them what they might think would work. And then I think one big ingredient to kind of the work around social innovation is a lot of collaboration across silos.
Right.
A lot of us work in streams that, if you're an engineer, you might have been educated with a whole bunch of other people that are going to be engineers. accountants, the same kind of thing. And so we tend to kind of learn in silos and then we practice in silos. But the real world is a lot more complicated than that. And social innovation tries to bring those people together at the beginning stages of the idea generation.
What kind of organizations do you work with?
Well, the City of Edmonton and the Recover Initiative is a significant one because it's a whole municipality that is kind of reorienting itself in some way to coming up with solutions in a different format, right? In a way that's engaging community right at the beginning and designing things together, solutions designed together in parallel, so that you hopefully get to the best solution. We're working on an affordable housing solutions lab is what it's called, and we're taking the same kind of approach to engaging community, creating new ideas and testing them out related to that topic of affordable housing. And so that's with the University of Alberta, the City of Edmonton, and the Edmonton Community Development Company as kind of our key partners in that.
But there could also be nonprofit organizations on some of the ventures that.
Oh yeah, like the Edmonton Community Development Company is a nonprofit organization. In Recover, there's a number of nonprofit agencies that are involved in some capacity. If we're talking about homelessness or, for example, food insecurity, there would be organizations that work in that area that get involved in testing out a new idea. We've worked with organizations in the arts sector who are trying to improve and build more capacity for artists to be better supported in the community. We've got some significant work around the business community and helping our small and medium-sized businesses explore their social and environmental impact through the B Corp certification.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that's a partnership that we collaborate with BDC, Business Development Bank Canada, on this, in addition to some other kind of local partners.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Roundhouse and what happens at the Roundhouse?
Yeah, when we developed and designed Roundhouse, the intention was we would create a space where people in the community that were interested in coming up with new ideas, growing those ideas into some sort of venture, whether it was a for-profit venture, nonprofit venture, some hybrid of the two, which we tend to call social enterprise, could have a community that they can join and support one another. So we created this space, and part of that space is a co-working element. And co-working as just kind of a model of working is starting to become a lot more popular, where a lot of people are now saying, what, I don't need to go and find my own private office with a 2-year lease and I have to pay for all the utilities, nor am I happy working at home in my kitchen or in my basement and I feel fairly isolated and disconnected from the world. Co-working is kind of bridging the two, where you can share in a common workspace, you can share in a common kitchen. We have a tech library where you can access a lot of different equipment, and you're paying a much lower rate for your time there, and you're sharing in all these costs. So we have a co-working aspect plus kind of the meeting and event space aspect. So we're happy or fortunate to have a significant amount of space on our campus that we converted into Roundhouse. It's about 10,000 square feet. And the business model really is about bringing that community together, selling our memberships to people that want to use the space, and also renting out the meeting rooms and event space for kind of the one-off meetings or events that are happening here, all around that theme of kind of social and environmental change. So our members are really diverse. We have people that work in the healthcare field, in technology, in literacy, in environment, and that's kind of part of the vision that we had, is that we would see a diverse group of people here working on different topics, but all trying to grow an idea to a point where they can scale up. So that's kind of the format of Roundhouse.
Okay, good. So are you accumulating a body of methods then that help solve these complex social problems?
There's been a lot of work. Canada is one of the leading countries around social innovation in terms of kind of more formal methodologies, I would say. And I think borrows from lots of great concepts across the world. Um, we are kind of joining on that and kind of taking what seems the most relevant practical tools to help organizations in different initiatives like our affordable housing lab, to use those tools to engage people, to do some rapid prototyping and testing them out in the field. Um, but at the end of the day, all those things, even though they might be new methods for some people that are getting involved, they're not revolutionary approaches. They're just slightly different ways of engaging people that get to the heart of an issue, using, basically some of the ingredients are empathy building for those that are engaged, so that you're really kind of reminding yourself, who are the people that you're trying to serve, or trying to develop a solution for. Collaborating across sectors is a really important thing. So innovative ideas really come about when you meet people that you don't normally talk to. I think a lot of people who may have worked in the same organization for a number of years, that's where you feel that stagnancy, and people tend to become less creative.
Right.
But your creative juices start to move again when you meet new people. And
Right.
that's, social innovation is really much about collaborating across different sectors. So when you combine that empathy with the collaboration, facilitate in a way where people have the opportunity to talk about things, you get some new ideas that you can start testing out.
I certainly know how important good facilitation is. Is that something that you do yourself, or?
I mean, I have done it. My role now is a little bit less focused on facilitation, more on kind of creating strategic partnerships and alignments across different organizations. But I'm privileged to be able to be in those conversations and kind of explore different ways of collaborating.
Right.
We have a great team of people in Edmonton, whether they're formally connected to what we're doing here at the Institute or just they're doing other things in their own organizations. There's a lot of people in Edmonton that have great skill sets that we, again, are happy to engage them, and we've had some good successes so far with our current partnerships.
Very good.
Yeah.
And we take the longer view and maybe a little bit bigger picture before we conclude. And where do you see this social innovation movement going? Is it? How is it unfolding?
I think with a lot of, if you call it movements, there's kind of the insiders and the outsiders. The people that are in the movement, they're super excited. They're creating new ways of doing things, and they see the world in a different way. And the outsiders tend to either watch that with some level of curiosity, or just say, that's not for me. That's my world is not their world, and so I'm just gonna, observe it. But that's as much as it's gonna gain my attention. My hope is that social innovation doesn't become a movement that people will look at from the sidelines and say, "Oh, that's interesting. Those people are doing interesting things, but it's not for me." I think social innovation is, and it might be just even reframing how it gets presented. It's yourself and your friends, or your family, your relatives sitting around a dinner table saying, complaining about something that's happened in your community, and someone says, "Let's do something about that." That to me is at the heart of why this is starting to become a movement, because people are now seeing, we can't just sit there and complain about the issue. We can do something about it, and now there's a community of people that can help me get that done.
Yes, sounds like we're in some ways going back to our earlier roots when people had a stronger sense of community and innovation and helping neighbors.
Yeah.
And so it really is that social innovation should be and is naturally a part of the social fabric of society.
I think, talking about our roots, when organizations were smaller, when there were no organizations, there were just collective groups of people were able to adapt and be nimble with acting on ideas. And as society progressed and we evolved and we had large organizations, and then you had many more organizations, and to a point where organizations and companies started to merge, and they became these giant entities with any level of bureaucracy. that creative and endeavor and the innovative work that happens tends to suffer. So I think social innovation, in a way, is a reflection of the fact that we've moved so far from that route where we could be nimble and act on ideas. But I think I believe that the human spirit has always been about acting on ideas, uh, and social innovation is just a pathway, a structure to remind us of that and kind of provide some more guidance to kind of get back to that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Are there some subjects that you'd still further like to discuss here today, or any other points to make?
Yeah, I think like I mentioned the B Corp work that we are doing right now, and I think for a lot of our business community, talking about big social issues like poverty and homelessness is daunting. If I were running a business and someone said, "Can you help us solve poverty in Edmonton?" I'd be like, "Where? How?" Like I have no idea.
Could you explain what a B corporation is?
B Corporation is a certification that helps measure a business's social and environmental practices. It gets broken down to a number of categories. So how a business supports its workers, its community, the environment, its customers, how it's governed by itself, and it has basically an extensive assessment tool called the B Impact Assessment that you can get points on every time you do something that moves the needle towards something that's more social or environmentally conscious. And if you can score 80 points on this tool, you can then be eligible to apply to become a certified B Corp business. And it's a growing movement around the world. There's over 3,000 businesses that are certified. There is 2 or 3 dozen businesses in Alberta that are certified B Corp businesses. But there's a large community of businesses that are interested in being B Corp certified. And maybe they're not at the 80-point level yet, but they're on that path. I think the real value of something like that is that it provides some guidance in identifying where are some areas that you can improve upon to, again, get to the 80 points level. But a community of people that can support a business owner on how to do that.
So we may have some people viewing this video who would be interested in looking into becoming B certified.
Yeah, B Corp certified.
B Corp certified, and so you would be able to help them find their way.
Yeah, we're the Institute and Roundhouse here. We help convene in Edmonton the community of B Corp businesses and those that are wanting to be B Corp businesses to come together. So we'll host a lunch or a breakfast every month or two. We have these workshops if you're really wanting to use the assessment tool and learn how to do that. So we're a bit of a convener in that sense. But my point earlier about kind of the big social issues out there, and for businesses, grappling with how they fit and what their purpose in society is. My answer to them is, maybe look at the B Corp certification as a kind of a diagnostic tool to kind of assess where you are as a business now and where what you want to improve upon in some area of your practice. And if you land on, well, I really want to get involved in my community and I want to connect to food insecurity as an issue, then at that point you've kind of done that assessment and understood where you are. It's kind of like a health check for the business. You kind of know what's working, what's not, address those areas that you want to improve on. And then the rest of what we do in the institute is really about connecting people to those issues and the players that are involved there. So we can also help you get further connected once you kind of identify where your purpose is.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Are there other things that you want to tell us about?
No, I think that's great. I appreciate the opportunity to have the chat today.
All right. Thank you. And we've been talking with Leo Wong, PhD, at Social Innovation Institute at MacEwan University. My name is Randall Adcock, and you've been listening to Impact, courtesy of Wayfinders Business Cooperative.